When learning a stack for the first time, we are clear to identify which players are active or inactive, but for brevity's sake, we may not go much beyond that simple binary. Today, we're going to go into more details on cutting patterns and handler progression. As with all of our videos, blue is offense, red is defense, and white is the disc. The offense is trying to advance the disc up towards the top of the screen. Left is the home side, and right is away. So here we have a basic horizontal stack setup. We have our left, center, and right handlers. We have our two wings and our two poppers downfield. We will begin with the disc on the away sideline and the force is away. Since the right handler has the disc, the active cutters will be the right side popper and wing. When there are two activated cutters, one of them will be hot and the other will be on deck, like in baseball. The hot cutter will be the first to move and the on deck cutter will go second. In these sideline situations, we want the wing to be the hot cutter. Once they move, it opens up this throwing lane for the handler and increases the range of threats available. Even if we don't want to make a bigger throw, the existence of that threat can pull the defense around. In all situations, the most reliable throw is to the open side 5 to 10 yards in front of the handler. Demonstrating in the middle of the field with a force away, this area right here is our best to attack. If the force is flipped towards the home side, then that space is going to shift a little bit to the left. Maybe they put a flat mark on us. Well, in that situation, you're going to have two different open sides. It's just not going to be as far out, so you'll have a threat range right here and right here. And now we have two reliable spaces to attack with our cutters. So let's apply this all to our sideline situation. The disc will be on or near the away sideline, and the force is also away. Our wing is our hot cutter, and their first cut is going to go straight in towards the handler. Right here is where that first pass opportunity exists. Okay, remember, we have this box right here where all of our best throws are going to be, and so that's the first thing we should attack. If we win this one-on-one matchup, we get that easy throw off, and now we're moving. But let's say that they don't make this catch. Well, the next step is called the clear out. Clearing out does not mean that you give up, though. It creates a new threat. So we're going to come out and attack laterally, and we're going to threaten this space right here. We come in and we get beat to this spot. As we come out, because of the known existence of this threat, it is possible that this defender might hang out and linger for an extra second or two. And if that happens, then this pass is incredibly deadly. Now, let's say that the defender was playing much more honest and this pass is not made. So the next step for this cutter will be to come back out here and return to the stack. Take note that the path that we take puts us more towards the center and away from this throwing column. If we were to return to the stack and we wanted to return to our original position, we would be cutting off a lot of activity. While we are unlikely to take this option, it's important to recognize that by clearing out in this way towards the center, we do create an additional threat, and that would be to go for a deep pass. Because this throwing lane is now open, if we loop around like so, and the defender is trailing behind us by enough, this now becomes a very easy, viable threat. We've created enough lateral spacing from the original position of the cutter versus the original position of the disc. We are not doing what is called a same third huck. If we just started from here and went out, the disc would travel up and over the back of our head, and it would be a very unreliable throw. By approaching from an angle, starting at the center and working our way out towards this front cone in the end zone, that means that we can read the disc in and we're much more likely to make a catch. We're not going to go for this in most situations, but if we read that the defender is being incredibly lazy and we have a great handler, it is a threat that exists. Once this wing has gotten about halfway through their clear out and they are outside of this catching box, that is when the popper wants to begin their cut. So once again, in the exact same way, the most reliable spot on the field to catch the disc is right here in this box, directly in front of the handler. So that's the space we're going to attack first. If this catch is not made, now we actually have a choice. We could, in the exact same way as the wing, we could clear out towards the center and attack this space over here. We would want to do this if the defender beats us to the spot and has their shoulder like so. We will certainly beat them to this position over here because we have that advantage. And now we have the opportunity for this pass. However, maybe the defender beats us to the spot and they're positioned a little bit more in front like this. So they will still beat us on this lateral clear out. Well, the second clear out that we could do would be up to this space right here, looking for a mid-range throw. If neither of these throws are made, then we're going to want to return to the stack, and because the wing has now returned more towards the center of the field, we do not want to clump that up, and so we want to clear out towards that wing space. So over the course of these cutting patterns, the wing and the popper have effectively switched positions. This idea is often called diamond cutting, where over the course of a cut, these two guys just end up where the other one had started. So let's say that we're really struggling on offense. The wing made the first cut, attacking this box, and then coming across, attacking this break space. Didn't get it here, didn't get it here. They clear out. There's no opportunity for a deep. Then we have the popper. They come in, they attack the box. They don't get it here. And whichever direction that they choose to go, they still don't get the disc. We have time for one more cutter, and that is going to be what we call a reset. A reset is any time that a throw is made to another handler as opposed to a downfield cutter. So for this reset, our target is going to be the center handler. And just like all these other cuts, we have this very reliable space to hit, and that is going to be the space where this center handler is going to attack, looking for a catch up here. Now, if they don't get this, then they're actually going to want to double back, go here. Because the only way that they don't get this pass is if the defender is out in front of them. And if the defender is out in front, then they cannot defend the backside, and so the handler can just double back and catch a disc around back here. We will lose yards on that throw, but it doesn't matter because as long as we retain possession of the disc, we have things that we can do. Let's think about the timing of all of these things. We assume that each person's cut is going to take them 2 to 3 seconds in order to get through their whole progression. So we started with this blue line. Okay, come down here, come across and clear. We're going to expect that's going to take 2 to 3 seconds. Well, once you're about 2 seconds in, and we're halfway done with this clear out is when this next cutter is going to begin. So we're looking at like a stall 2.5 kind of situation. 2.5, maybe 3.5 before they threaten here. Looking at a 4 or a 5 as they threaten these spots. So now we're halfway through our stall count. That's incredibly high. We're looking at a stall 6 by the time that this strike happens, 6.5 range. And then they double back. We're looking at a 7, maybe 7.5. When they get to this point here. Once we get to that stall 7.5, maybe that stall 8 range, we just need to do anything so that we don't get a turnover. In the short space, the only person who's going to be active is this reset handler. They are allowed to do absolutely anything after they go through their standard progression. So any way that they feel that they can break past their guy, even if it means coming all the way around back here and maintain being trapped on the sideline, that's okay because all we care about is getting the disc. Now, of course, our goal is never to get to these very high stall count situations, and so we want to attack all of these spaces that we've drawn out here. We are creating threats over a huge percentage of the field, And the defense has to cover so much ground that we have lots of opportunities to make plays happen. Now, if we were on the home sideline and it was a forced home, this exact same logic would apply. Everything would just be mirrored. Well, all of this is if we're on the away sideline and it's a force away. Well, what if it's a force home? It doesn't make sense for the defense to do a force home from this position, right? Like, what is the defender going to guard here and defend absolutely nothing? In those situations, the defender is going to sit flat because they want to drive the disc back towards the home sideline, and then they can trap it all right there. Well, once again, we're just going to go back to our core concepts, that being identifying that free and open space where we can have our very reliable throws, about 5 to 10 yards away from the handler and a little bit downfield. Now, in these flat situations, we would have a threat on both sides of the handler, a little bit downfield, but of course, this side here, we have the sideline. That's not an option. Therefore, our threat is in this space over here. And our throwing column is going to be out this way. Therefore, since we want to clear that throwing column, we would want our popper to be hot. If this guy clears out, it opens up this lane for a lot more activity for everyone else to make moves. Okay, so they would come in and attack the box first. Then for their clear out, they would want to go into the break side. So they would clear out laterally here and make another threat right here. It's important to recognize that we don't want to go into the open side even more. Let's visualize how that would play out. If we cleared out this way, the defender does not need to guard extremely tight. If this throw is made, take a look. We got 1, 2, 3 defenders all in the area, and they're not being threatened by their guy that they're defending. So they are more than happy to jump off of their person and attack any kind of overhead throw. So this is an incredibly risky throw that should never be made. Therefore, in order for us to clear out, we want to go out towards the sideline and create an opportunity for a little skip throw up the sideline right here. Force our defender to play us tight and open up this space for the next guy. And our clear out pattern would just be to return to the stack right here. While that clear out is happening, now we can have our other activated cutter, the guy who was previously on deck, and then they can come in and they can attack the box here. And once again, in the exact same way like our previous example, they now have 2 different ways that they can clear out. They could also choose to clear out by going to the break sideline here, or they could go for a mid-range up here and make a threat in this space. All depending on how the defender guards them. They just need to read the hips and react accordingly. And then in much the same way, they will clear out and become a popper. So there will be a net switch of that handler and popper. Okay, you had your, the guy who started as a popper here will come in, across, and out. And the guy who started as a wing will come in. And if they go across, they'll clear out towards the center, or they'll just, attack the middle and then just hang out in that space. And then in much the same way, when we look for that reset, well, our angles are going to change a little bit. Going for this strike doesn't make a lot of sense. We're going to, once again, want to attack this space here. And then if we get beat to this spot, there is really nothing defending this backspace. So our goal here with this drive up towards the box is to push our defenders out, leave this massive space open, and that's where our most reliable resets are going to be.